ChurchMind is a platform created for Christians throughout the world. It offers the body of Christ the opportunity to reach the world with the word of life. ChurchMind consciously occupies its position at the gates as the virtual church for Christians from any nation in the world. Welcome to ChurchMind, the online Christian community.
Open Heavens Devotional for 12th of January 2021. The topic for today's devotional is MCY. Pride. The memory verse is from the book of James chapter 4 verse 6. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. The Bible reading for today is from the book of Proverbs chapter 16 verse 18. This is the message for today's devotional. Today, we will be considering the element P, in the mathematics of Christ in you. MCY. If you do not understand, kindly refer to the devotional of January 11th. The element, P in the equation for resistance stands for pride. Pride will resist the free flow of Christ in you. Today's memory verse says, God resists the proud but he gives grace to the humble. This means that it is only when pride disappears that the grace of Christ would begin to flow fully in you. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 6 says, Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Almost as soon as I got born again, I began to hear the voice of the Lord. It was a sweet experience. I was also the interpreter for the then General Superintendent, and so, out of respect for him, other pastors would not ask that I interpret for them. One day, I felt insulted when a junior pastor asked me to interpret for him. I said to myself, I am the interpreter for the big man, how can this pastor ask me to interpret for him? I reluctantly accepted because of the culture of discipline in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. As I finished interpreting for him and was going to my car, God asked me, so you are now too big to interpret for my servant? From that moment, he went silent. Believe me, it is a terrible experience to stop hearing from God. It didn't take long for the devil to exploit this gap and torment me. I wept bitterly as I prayed, Father, forgive me, I will interpret for anyone. At last, God forgave me and I began to hear from him again. Many years later, after I had become the general overseer, I traveled to the town of Ilsha, Nigeria. On getting there, I decided to attend the Bible study at a nearby RCCG parish. I wanted to just sit back and enjoy the service, but I was dragged up to the pulpit to teach. I insisted that since the fellow who was to teach had already opened his Bible, he should go ahead and I would interpret. He said he was only a deacon and was quite low in rank to the general overseer. When the discussion was becoming drawn, I said, I command you. Since he had no choice, he taught and I interpreted for him. As a worker, I was too proud to interpret for a pastor, but now as general overseer I interpreted for a deacon. The measure of Christ I have in me has increased because I had destroyed pride in my life by his grace. Do you still harbor pride? It will hinder Christ from dwelling in your life. Pride must go, it has to die. Deal with it today and see how much Christ will begin to operate in you.